You want to say hi? Yeah? Hi. Oh, little man. Yeah, he's a good boy. Oh, it's a big stretch. Yeah. Okay, can I talk now? No, don't hit my camera. Can I lay down? Okay. Well, it is Wednesday, April 22nd, and I am no longer on PTO. Obviously, it's been a couple of weeks, so I just want to go over the highlight of what's happened so far. Basically, my podcast is now out in the world, which is super awesome. We started recording in January, and it was just absolutely chaotic in January because we had all of that ice on the roads, and you guys got to see that in another vlog, but my kids were home for 2 weeks, and it was just wild. Anyway, so today, episode 3 actually dropped, and it's probably the one where we find our groove and we've got good give and take and it's well balanced. I like this one a lot, but if you haven't checked it out, it will be linked down below, and it's called With Serious Potential, which I think is so good. I did not come up with that. I'm pretty sure one of the other co-hosts did, but it was really a fun way to spend Wednesday mornings just chatting industry with my friends and talking about our books and talking about what we were doing and talking about what we were not doing. And we ended up including a segment on industry tea, which is kind of funny. You know, we talk about AI and we talk about agent bad manners and we talk about what you should and shouldn't do when maybe you're querying, and it's just kind of fun to immerse yourself in the industry once a week, very structured time, save time. And when we started recording, Ivy and I were agented, so that was really nice. And then Anna was not agented, but she was in Smooch Pit and revising and doing all the fun things, and I won't spoil anything, but she had a really fun end to that. So go and check it out. It was super fun to record. I'm so glad that I'm doing a podcast because y'all know me, I like to yap. So that is one major update of my life, is just that season 1 has been fully recorded for a couple of weeks now, and Ivy is our editor, so she's editing. I'm doing transcript work, which is taking forever. And then I'll also, in the middle of seasons, I'll go back and add blogs and stuff to supplement the episodes. So right now it's up on Substack, is kind of our home base. And then while I was getting used to Substack and figuring out what everything meant for the podcast, I was you know what? I always wanted to blog, but never thought I could. So what I do in my Discord is whenever I'm walking the dogs, I will voice memo my Discord and be hey, this is what's going on with me. And instead of voice messaging my Discord, I actually voice memoed myself, which I now realize I should have been dictating, and we have, come full circle on that. But it was really easy to kind of get my ideas out, and I think I really tried hard not to assimilate to I hate calling it the LinkedIn voice, but that's what it is. It's kind of this overly formal, it's almost robotic. It's weird. Anyway, but so I tried to make it sound like a conversation. And I don't know how well I did because I've never done a vlog before, so I think I need to work on my voice for that, but it's been super fun so far. Obviously, I posted my Higma first, so if you don't feel like watching the 3 hour, I don't know how long my Higma video was, but if you don't feel like watching that and you'd rather read about it, that is also on my Substack, which I'll link below as well. But I've got 2 posts up right now. My Higma, which, is pretty basic, and then the other one is the things your Discord won't say to your face, which people are either liking or not. I think it's a little bit more me in terms of voice, so I'm trying to embody that a little bit more, because I think for me, what I typically lean toward is more of a tough love, but still supportive and nuanced take. I don't know if I hit it or not, but that is the goal, and I'll continue to work on it, right? It's just a leveling up thing that I want to do. So yeah, I've got 2 posts up. I've got 2 more scheduled because like I said, whenever I'm walking, I just voice message, and they're like then I can clean it up later, which has been really cool. So I've got another couple that I just need to like tweak and polish, and then one that's scheduled. So I'd love to get enough that'll bring me through May. Right now, I think I can get to the beginning of May, which is not a lot, I realize, but I'm only going to post them every other week, and I'm not emailing people. Like, that's just not something I'm interested in. At least right now, while I don't have anything really to sell. Like, I know that that's kind of the point of a newsletter, is like, sell your book. I don't want to do anything that feels inauthentic or like salesy at this point in time. It just feels, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm not going in that direction. And I think a lot of people didn't know that if you start a Substack, you don't have to email people every time you post. So I thought that was a really good thing there. So the other thing that's like kind of in the back of my brain is like what season 2 is going to look like. So spoiler alert, if you care about spoilers for a podcast that you may or may not listen to, we're all agented and we're all probably going to be on sub before we start recording season 2. And that slows a lot of the momentum and a lot of the tension because, as you guys know, like you can't really talk about sub when you're on it. And actually my friend, Bree from YouTube, Bree, just sent me a tweet that said, oh gosh, I'm just gonna read it. Bree sent me a tweet, and I'm just, like, I completely agree. And I've been trying to figure out, like, how to get around it a little bit. Like, I know Meredith is, like, now releasing her vlogs, but, like, she's a unicorn, right? Like, not saying she didn't do the work. We've seen her do the work, like, literally seen her. And I just feel like everything felt like it happened really fast for her. And I know it didn't feel like that to her. And it's not to, you know, diminish anything or to brush past anything, but I feel like there was a lot that lined up for Meredith where it may not line up for me. And so therefore, I want to document what that looks like too. And I don't know if I want to do that on the podcast or if I want to do it on YouTube or if I want to do both. So I'm trying to figure out a way to update and show you guys without breaking any rules. And obviously this is still something I'm toying with. It's such a baby idea, but it's in the back of my mind because I'm gonna go on sub soon. And that's where my brain is. So yeah, so the tweet, now that we're getting back to it, the tweet says, only just occurred to me that I spent like a decade researching the querying process, but at some point I will be on sub and I've maybe seen like one video about that. And again, is it Meredith? Is it Lindsay Puckett? Because those are the only ones that I can think of. Lizelle Sandberry, maybe. I can't really remember if she did like a sub-specific one or not. Jenna Satterwhite did like a Substack on it or like a blog post on it, but it's old now. Like she's been a published author multiple times over and she's an agent to boot. And while I find those resources still really helpful, I want more things like Kate Dillon's sub stories where they're all anonymous. They all have like a happy face depending on like what's going on. And I'll link that below too, but I just want there to be more acknowledgement of sub and like how crazy the process can be, because I don't feel alone. I feel that's not how I want to explain it, but I feel a little bit unsupported by the community because we can't really talk about it. And I know that my agent knows what she's doing. She has great sales. Like, I'm not worried about that. And I am in multiple subgroups, but the on subgroups are either very new, which I love. I love the people that I've gone through querying with and are now agented and are now on sub, right? Or they're very, very large where I feel like I cannot ask a question or I'll out myself and like, I don't know these people, I don't trust those people. So like, but they're also not very active because sub is so slow. There's not a lot of information that people are sharing for a reason that I understand. Like, you don't want to give your agent strategy away. You're competing with these people for editor time, for editor acquisition, for everything. I was talking to my group today, like Anna and I, we both write horror. We write very different kinds of horror, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have overlap on our lists. And like, it is a weird feeling. Anna's one of the podcast hosts as well. It's a weird feeling knowing like I'm going up against her. And like, I've read some of her things. She is gorgeous. Her prose, stunning. Her world building, beautiful, lush, immersive. Like, I cannot say enough good things. And so it makes me look at, okay, how's my world building? How are my characterizations? Like, and I know I should have my eyes on my own paper. But that's not real life. And I feel like, and if you are one of those people who's like, yeah, I don't worry about other people, good for you. This is not going to apply. But for me, I want to constantly be assessing my expectations of where I am so that I can adapt and I can move forward. And I can use strategy or like whatever, right? I want to know what I'm doing. And on sub, I feel a little bit in the dark. I don't have enough to research. I can look at Publishers Marketplace all day, but that's still a gap. Like, I don't know what sub looked like for these people. I know what my friend Sierra did. I know how it's going in my Discord. I kind of know how it's going in my agency Discord. But again, like, it's just not enough. It's not enough to satiate what I feel like I need to feel like I know what I'm doing. And I think it's not something that can easily be remedied because so much of this is on my agent. Again, this is not about me not trusting her. I do. She's brilliant. She was like the agent I wanted, okay? Like, I knew before I sent this book out, she was going to love it, all right? I was going to get her. I haven't told her this. I will tell her this. With querying, the advice is everywhere. The stories are everywhere. I mean, they're on Query Tracker, all of the success stories. And in the comments, they tell you the not success stories, right? There's nothing like that for submission. And I don't even know exactly what I want, other than I definitely want a new Publishing Paid Me. I definitely want a new on-sub horror thing like Kate Dillon did. And I just want to do it all without risking my own career, which is hard, I think. I don't know how to do it. So that was a very long tangent for saying like I'm a little bit anxious about submission and being on submission and the silence and not having any control like you kind of do with querying. My agent says my book is great. I have to trust her. Whereas like for me, I could go back and tweak. I can change comps. I can like, I have a lot more visibility just due to Query Tracker. And nothing like that really exists. The other thing is that I haven't really been able to write. I got my dev edits obviously on New Year's Eve and I turned them in towards the end of March, like kind of middle end of March. And Alex was like, I'll get you line edits this day. Well, that's not even, she said, I will get back to you in a month is really what she said. So I checked in about 2 to 3 weeks into that and said like, hey, are we still on track? Like, just want to set my expectations, right? And she was like, yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Like, this day you're going to get your line edits and this day you're going to get your editor list and pitch. And then this day is when we're going to go out. And I was like, cool. Like, I feel like I did it. Like, that's great. So I'm just kind of waiting there, but that headspace has not really allowed me to focus on writing my whips. I have one that I'm working on right now that is super fun, like a spiritual successor to Murder Night, but a little bit more, like a very different, like environmental vibe, if that makes sense. And I'm excited because it's a different kind of friendship that I'm looking at. It's same like toxic tendencies, but a very different dynamic. And I'm excited to play with that a little bit. And I feel like my books are always gonna have like a relationship at the core. Because I don't write romance. I'm not interested in writing romance. I definitely have moments of like tension, but I don't have a romance ever. It's just not something I'm interested in writing. And it's been hard to get into that voice again. It is dual timeline, same main character, about 10 years difference. And I need to, number one, have the voice of that main character differentiated, but I also need to make sure it's not the same as my book that's going out. So it's like, it's just really hard to know that I've got line edits coming and also go and work on this book when the turnaround is actually quite quick. So instead I've been reading, I've been consuming media. I'm actually helping out with Camp Rev Pit right now, which is going super well. I'm really excited. Me and the other co-director are doing like a little surprise query boot camp at the end, like very like 101 simple stuff, but I'm hoping that we get some fun questions that we can kind of talk about. But I'm trying to give back. I'm trying to keep my brain engaged as much as possible to prevent any type of spiral or anxiety or whatever. So there's that. You know, it's kind of busy at work right now, so I'm working through those things, which you know, is fine. But I've been getting up at 5 every day. Like, I'm pretty much through the core of my work by like 10 a.m. and then it's like, you know, monitoring and doing things as they come up. But I feel very productive right now, and I think this camp is exactly what I needed because it got me back on the productive cycle that I know that I thrive in. So along with that whip, I've got 2 like little domestic horrors that are like playing around in my head. And then eventually I'm gonna do a camp horror. I have to, but that's not quite ready yet. So that's kind of on the back burner, still simmering. And I've never been at a place where I've had so many ideas at once. I always have ideas, but they've never like fought for attention in my head before. Like, I'm usually very stuck on one manuscript. And so that's a new feeling for me. It's super fun. And I think it's probably useful because like, what happens when I have to draft and edit at the same time, or polish, or like whatever the stage is that I'm at. Kind of the whole reason I wanted to do a chatty video today is because I recently took a business insights class with Cece Lira, who is an agent. She mostly does like book club, I think, and like upmarket stuff, which is not what I write, which is fine. But that class was incredible. Incredible. And I think I talked about it maybe in my last video, but I want to dive into something else. And that's what she said about being a good media partner. And we all know that the current understanding is that you don't need a big or any type of platform for fiction. And the cyclical rumor that keeps coming up is, I got a rejection because I don't have a platform. And these are fiction writers saying this. And number one, I don't want to generalize, right? Like, this is a difficult topic, I think, to broach, but I want to talk about it anyway because I want to process and talk about what I'm doing, and who knows if it's working or not. But Cece said, if they're looking, you want to make sure that you present as a good media partner. I'm obviously paraphrasing, don't come at me. But she explained that a good media partner is not necessarily one that has like millions of followers. It is someone who can carry on a conversation, who understands the industry, or is at least like interested in industry and books and all of that. So I think this really hit me hard because number one, I feel like I am very interested in this industry and books, and that's why I'm like trying to be everywhere. Like, I want to be on YouTube, and I want to be on Blue Sky, and I want to be on Substack, and like I want to talk about this industry nonstop. But it also made me think, like, if we assume that the understanding that fiction doesn't need a platform is changing, then what am I doing to prove that I can be a good media partner? And I think that has really been something that has weighed on me since I took that class in April. And I think it's because I do have opinions, and I do like give back to the community, or at least, you know, I volunteer and I try, and I like, you know, I'm doing things like Camp Rev Pit and, you know, whatever else. But how am I doing this in a way that like can go on my writing resume, my bio, like whatever you want to say? Because I don't have any credentials. Like, I don't have an MFA, like I don't have a master's, I don't have published works already. So how do I prove that I'm still a safe investment in terms of professionalism and in terms of like being immersed in the community and being connected in the community? Because I don't really network above my stage. Like, I know some freelance editors. I don't know big 5 editors. I have interests from editors, but like that's not the same thing as networking. So it's like my mind is all over the place. And I don't know if I've told you guys this. I have OCD as well as anxiety, and like, you know, that's something that I try to put into my protagonist so that it has actual representation. I did decline to get medication for my OCD and instead got a medication that was more focused on anxiety, which I think helps. But the thing with my OCD is that I will constantly look at this as a problem to fix. And like, I could be doing more. I could be doing this. Like, what about this strategy? Yada, yada, yada. And sometimes my brain is all in, 100 miles an hour, like, go, 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 give me a list. We're doing all the things. And then sometimes it's quiet and it feels almost normal. And like that, along with like chronic pain, are some things that can really change a day in my, like, can change plans, let's say. And I want to make sure that I am representing myself well, number one. I'm representing my book well, my agent well. But also, like, if other writers with chronic pain or with OCD or asexuality, like whatever, like I want to make sure that I'm not at all bringing a bad image to them. It's just a lot of things that I'm not sure I have to think about, but I am. And so what my brain has told me, whether it is true or not, I'm helping out with Camp Rev Pit. I am co-directing with my girl Jackie. It's going really well. We have an incredible team this year. Like, holy crap, they're good. But it's a lot, right? Like, it's very like a visible thing. I'm up at 5 running sprints, and sometimes the engagement is low. So it's like, am I just talking to myself? Yes. And sometimes I am, and I'm okay with that because it is there if somebody wants it. And we've had our regulars start to come in now, but for the first day it was just me chilling. I was a first reader for Rev Pit. I got to, you know, read the first 5 pages and the query and give my notes, which was fantastic because it felt like reading slush. So it was, you know, fun for me to do. I love reading slush. And I love finding like what's unique about a story and like really leaning into that. So I enjoyed that, but I don't think Blue Sky is enough because the writing community is so separated right now. I don't like Meta. Facebook and Instagram are just not for me. I'm on Instagram, but not really. My algorithm is basically all dogs and like Aries stuff. So like when I'm sharing my stories, it's like friend's book, Aries meme, dog, Aries meme, book, Aries meme, dog. It's not a place that I go for writing content, which is fine. So then I had to branch out, right? Blue Sky kind of works. Twitter is, I mean, Twitter's not really a place that I am anymore. My account is there, I'm not really there. So Substack feels like a grown-up Tumblr, which feels really good to me. So we're gonna try there. That's where the podcast is as well. I think I'm just trying to find what works for me and also is going to look like I've made a smart choice if I were to put this on like my writing resume. And then of course YouTube is just fun. I just like YouTube. I like long content that I can put my headphones on and do the dishes, and it's not as heavy. I don't feel like I need to take notes when I'm watching YouTube. Whereas, and I love Turning to Story. Turning to Story is the best podcast out there if you're a writer. Come at me, I'll fight you. It just is. But I feel like I have to take notes, and so it's not something I can listen to all the time. I think I'm just rambling now. I think the point though is that I don't want to wait for a deal to start acting like a professional author. I am a professional. I am an author. I'm just not published yet. And I want to keep leveling up and doing what I have to do to get there. And I know that not everything is in my control, but if I can do something to make it a little bit easier on my agent, or to make myself look like a better partner for an editor or a publishing house, like I'm going to do it. But anyways, these are just some of the topics that have come up recently on Discord, on social media. I hope the words are treating you well. I hope if you're in the trenches, it's not painful and it's going quickly and you're leveling up however you need to do it. Until next time, thanks for hanging out. Bye.